All right. Wow. Okay. I want to know, I'm getting the sense of how important we are.
Yes.
To the whole scheme of things.
Leading edge creators.
Yes, that leading edge.
Affording non-physical the opportunity to enjoy your fleshing it out into more pleasure, more awareness, more understanding. Yeah. Let's just say it. Manifestation is more than the thought. Let's just say it. Faster is more fun than slower.
Yes.
Let's just say it. More is more than less.
All right. So without us, without me.
No point in speculating that. That can't be. No point in talking about you not being around. You're around. No point in talking about there not being a leading edge. There always will be. It's worth talking about you getting the benefit of being that, saying to yourself on a regular basis, I am so loving my part in this co-creative experience. Yeah.
I am so loving this. I'm so loving the part that I'm playing in all of this, and knowing how important I am to it, how we all are to it, and that just feels so good.
That feeling of importance to it, what you're defining is a strong point of focus, because if you don't have that, if you don't have that strong point of focus, then you're not part of the leading edge, and you must be. In other words, you can't go back. So we are not finding the word important being exactly the word that resonates with who you really are. It's awareness of who you are. Not importance in a judging or there's important and less important, but awareness, aware of the integration of all that is with you out here on the leading edge. Valuable, yes indeed.
That's so wonderful to experience, you know, that worthiness stuff, you know, that you have, and then you arrive at this point and knowing.
What you're describing is how your inner being feels about you. So as you are expressing these words, that means that on a regular basis, you're in a place where you are allowing how your inner being feels about you to be felt by you. Isn't that just a wonderful thing?
Oh.
And that's why you're using the word like important. Yeah, because you are an object of attention through which attention is flowed. And so the lens through which the attention is flowed does matter a lot to you. Source can flow attention whether you're open and consciously realizing it or not. Non-physical doesn't need you, so you're not important in that sense. But it is important for you to know your place and to allow yourself to be the extension of it in order for you to feel that worthiness. Maybe worthiness and importance are the same word in that sense. Yeah. Something more?
Well, I think the slowness and the vastness of momentum in my life. Like at one time I felt like I had a vastness going on. You were talking about the speed today.
Well, don't misunderstand, because when you're up to speed, your sensation of speed is not there. Have you ever been in traffic or even in an airplane, but it's more common on the highway, where the car next to you is traveling with you at the same speed, and so you look over, you can see what's going on in the car. There's such a similarity in your speed that, but if someone all of a sudden comes to an abrupt stop and the other one continues to go, then that's more of an unsettling experience. So when you get up to speed with your inner being, your sense of speed is altered. What we're really talking about here is the presence or the absence of resistance. Speed is only recognizable when resistance is part of the, because once you get really flowing, as long as you're up to speed with who you really are, then speed is not even an issue.
I just got that. Because there are times that I'm feeling now, I'm
when
caught
you
up.
get up to speed with your momentum, age is not an issue.
Of course.
Logical, isn't it?
Of course, yes, exactly. when I dance, I feel like the universe is dancing through me and with me. And often I'm hearing, when I'm at a meeting or I'm just being somewhere, I'm hearing singing through me too, like I'm kind of moving to songs and being present, but feeling this glorious...
Sort of in rhythm with the joy of the universe.
Yes.
The wonderful state of being.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
My question has to do with deliberate creation.
Our favorite subject.
I first went to a meeting with you on Pacific Cruise. And after I left it, I wanted to be a good deliberate creator. And
You already were.
Was I?
You already were. Yes.
Well, my question is because I made a list
Yeah.
at that time
Yeah.
of my 5 most important wishes.
Do you believe that they were already in the vortex and that
Yeah.
you were just clarifying them?
Yeah. yeah,
And you
yeah.
believe that as you wrote them down that there was a sort of receiving mode thing that was happening? In other words, as you wrote them down, did you feel a sort of spurt of enthusiasm about them?
On some of them I did.
Yeah.
And if I'm here, it's because I feel, not only I feel, I know that none of them has occurred so far. And actually one of them cannot occur because it had to do with harvest, and the harvest period already passed away 2 months ago. So I want to know, what am I doing, what am I missing, or what am I doing wrong?
Well, you're not doing anything wrong, but let's just clarify deliberate creation just a little bit, because focusing feels good. We talked earlier about the difference between clarity and confusion, and certainly clarity feels better than confusion. But there is a basic misunderstanding of most people, even after, or especially after, they begin listening to the way we present the laws of the universe. And the misunderstanding is that when you focus upon something, it is then your singular responsibility to close the gap between you and that manifestation. The awareness of this creation that you're wanting to deliberately create sometimes works against you because your awareness that you haven't yet created it is such a strong vibration. And so then there's a sort of attitude that, well, now that I know about deliberate creation, I'm going to be more deliberate about creating this thing that hasn't happened before. But the more attention you give to it, the more you hold yourself in awareness that it hasn't happened still, or that it hasn't happened again, or that it hasn't happened yet. So that's why we began shifting from conversation about deliberate creation, which caused a lot of people to just try too hard and get more specific than they were ready to be, and begin talking about the vortex and allowing and reaching for the emotion of it rather than for the manifestation of it. Because the whole point of its manifestation is that it will cause you to feel better. So wouldn't it be nice if you could just feel better on your way to the manifestation of it? Can you sort of feel the difference in that?
Yes, yes.
So the emphasis that we are wanting you to feel, and a lot of the conversation that we have had so far in this cruise seminar, is in not applying so much effort, instead just doing your best to get into a place of feeling good, where you allow the things that you've already created to then be realized by you. The thing that almost always is in the way when someone says, I made a list of 5 things and none of them came about, is that there is the awareness that they have not come about is stronger than the anticipation that they are coming about. Is the reason that yesterday we made the clarification of the difference between manifested and manifesting. You have to be willing to not take score about the manifestation and instead pay attention to the delicious unfolding, how it feels as it unfolds. Sometimes, in fact, most often, the things that you care the most about are the things that are the slowest in coming. And so we've begun offering this important distinction. If when you think about whatever it is, the object of attention of your desire, if when you think about it, it feels awkward or slow-moving or uncomfortable in any way, the more general statements you make, the better. But when you're thinking about something and you feel some exhilaration about it, some eagerness about it, then the more specific statements that you make. So here, in these words that we just offered to you, how our entire intent is for you to please yourself with your words. So if you're trying too hard and it feels like struggle, back off from it, change the subject altogether, or get really general about it. But if it is exhilarating to you, then think about it and talk about it and cut out pictures about it and talk to others about it and revel in it, because it came up earlier in this conversation today also. You don't create things by setting goals. You already set the goal is already in the vortex. But by talking about the goal that you want to call the goal, that's the way you practice the vibration of what's in the vortex. So the work, the only work that is required in bringing something out of the vortex and into the reality where you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it, is to not feel bad in the absence of it, but take pleasure in the vibrational beingness of it.
And talk as if it already occurred?
Unless that makes you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes that's trying too hard. There are a lot of people that say, speak as though I am and I will be. We're not disagreeing with that. But if you're speaking as if it is and every day you look and it isn't, then you get some awkwardness going on in your vibration that works against you.
Yeah.
Just be easy about it.
Yes. You gave us in that opportunity a sticker that said, things are always working out for me. And I have it in my car. And I read it every day. I think that things are always working out for me. And I'm sure that even though I stated 5 things, and one of them will never occur, but I'm waiting.
Not in the precise form.
Yeah, but I'm sure that I will eventually achieve all of the rest of them, and much more than that. My question was, if you that have a much greater knowledge of my inner self than I have myself, if you think that is there something I'm not doing correctly?
There is nothing that you're not doing correctly. There is something that you're doing that is slowing it down, and that is taking score of where it is. You just can't say it isn't working without slowing it down. Because you say, I think things are working out, but none of these things have happened, and by the way, one of them never will.
Yeah, I read.
Isn't it interesting that by looking at the real, which hasn't yet manifested, you keep the vortex vibrational version of it from becoming real? Isn't that just an interesting thing? Your awareness of what hasn't happened keeps what hasn't happened from happening. And yet, as humans, you want to be realistic. You don't want to be crazy. And that's why we're asking you to find the emotional essence of it, which is real. You're so good at seeing things, and when you can't see them, they feel like they're not there. So you have to sense them. That's what faith is. That's what trust is. It's trust in the evolution. It's trust in the becoming. It's trust in the thoughts turning to things. It's trust. And along the way, as you put 5 things on your list, along the way to the accomplishing of those 5 things, you find so many other things that you didn't even know were on the list. Yeah. Enough? Yeah. Yeah.